What's up, guys? Devin Jackson here with Blue Chip Scouting. Today, I want to break down a safety that I think will be a really good selection on day three of the draft process. And that safety is Leon O'Neal Jr. from Texas A&M, the four-year contributor for the Aggies, played in over 40 games in his A&M career, totaling over 160 tackles, had 6 career interceptions, 18 passes defense, according to the team website. And is just a very physical, imposing player for the Aggies defense. And really over the last couple of seasons, he started to emerge as, one of the premier safeties in the SEC. And a big reason why is he flies downhill. He's a very active player that constantly is in or around the ball with his ability to be physical, his relentless effort and pursuit of the football. And, as it translates to the NFL level, while I don't think he's going to be a true middle of the field safety, someone that is going to run sideline to sideline and be able to cover the full, length of the field from that back end, I do think he can be an effective box safety, someone that could play really well in the short zones and be really an effective potential tight end matchup, running back matchup dependent player, and be a third safety for an NFL team immediately. So first, I want to kind of break down a few of the plays from Alabama where he had 9 tackles, one tackle for loss, 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery. And there was a couple plays from that game that showed there's a foundation for his development and growth as a player. First play here against Alabama, you're going to see here that Alabama comes out with 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end, basically a trips to the right side with the tight end on the football here at the bottom or at the top of the screen, I should say. And then got 2 receivers split out. You're going to find Leon O'Neal Jr. here in this 2x2 bunch set that Alabama is deploying. And what you're going to see here is that O'Neal does a really nice job being able to defeat the blocker, the initial blocker. And while John Mechie does pick up some yak yardage and does pick up some, extra yards after the catch, you're going to see kind of the physicality take over and kind of be on display for Leon O'Neal Jr. So once again, you're going to see Leon O'Neal Jr. here. He's going to communicate and talk with his defensive back. And you see a lot of that in his career. You see a lot of him kind of directing the defense, getting his teammates lined up. And that's an important thing to remember as part of this evaluation. But what you're going to see here is Leon O'Neal merely comes downhill, wants to cut the screen route to funnel it out to his buddy out in the corner. But Mechie is able to make his guy miss. But you're going to see O'Neal peel back and then deliver a nice blow to Mechie. So you're going to see here in the end zone view, what you're going to see is Leon O'Neal. He's going to come up. He's going to defeat the blocker. You see him right here against Jamison Williams. He's going to discard him. Then he's going to peel back and then secure the tackle there. So that's just one example of Leon O'Neal Jr. kind of being that physical, imposing presence that you saw a lot down in Mobile and a lot throughout his tape. That's exactly the type of player he is. He's going to come downhill. He's going to hit you in the mouth and be a physical player for your NFL franchise. What you're going to see here is a 2x2 set with Leon O'Neal Jr. here at the safety spot in the boundary part of the field. And what's going to essentially happen here is that Jamison Williams is going to run a screen, come back to the ball, and Cameron Latu is going to fake stalk block, and then go vertical and try to hit that whole shot in between the corner and safety. But what you're going to see is a really nice job here by Leon O'Neal, trusting his eyes and trust his instincts to make a play on the ball. Now, I'm going to comment a little bit about, kind of the speed of when he makes a transition. But at the end of the day, he makes a great play here to break up a pass and saving a touchdown, which actually comes back to help Texas A&M later in the game when they end up upsetting Alabama. But I'm going to let the play through here. But what you're going to see here is a stalk block here by Latu. And then you're going to see Leon O'Neal he is maybe a step late. You would like to see him get out of that transition a little bit quicker, but what you're going to see here is a terrific and relentless ability to not give up on a play, because him not giving up on this play saves a touchdown. So you're going to see him deliver the hit on Latu, and it's going to dislodge the ball loose. And we're going to run it back just one more time. Latu gets off the ball. You see Leon O'Neal here. He sees that his teammate is going to bite up and try and defend this screen pass. But what ends up happening is, O'Neal still is able to process and see that what's happening in front of him, and he makes a play on the ball and is able to knock it loose. So a very impressive play there from O'Neal. I think, while he may not be a, true one high safety, may not be the coverage deeper zone type of guy, I do think he can be that intermediate to short to intermediate safety that's able to make the play. So one last time here from Leon O'Neal, does a nice job being patient, then explodes and forces the ball to be dropped here by Latu. Final play I wanted to highlight here from Leon O'Neal Jr. is a play right on the goal line that ends up becoming a very crucial one for Texas A&M and their defense. So want to take a look at this final play here from Leon O'Neal Jr. before I wrap up and talk a little bit about what I saw from him in what I think he can bring to a NFL defense. So you're going to see that Alabama has a bunch set at the bottom of the screen, 2x2 set essentially, but tight end is on the left here in line right next to Evan Neal. But you're going to see basically a pick route that Alabama tries to run. And what's going to happen, or supposed to happen, is that John Mechie clears out with essentially a slant, but takes out his man, and then you're going to see Jaleel Billingsley essentially run a out route right to the front pylon. But what happens here is the routes don't necessarily get the best timing, and you got to give a little bit of credit to Texas A&M's defense for being able to log jam that. But also, you're going to see from Leon O'Neal Jr., who is lined up right here over Jaleel Billingsley of Alabama, he's going to do a really nice job to pretty much eliminate the play. And I think even if the routes are run correctly, I think O'Neal still has a chance to make a play in this short zone and be able to stop Alabama on this 3rd and goal from essentially the 4-yard line. So you're going to see a play run through here. You're going to see Billingsley, like I said, run the out route. You're going to see Mechie essentially run a slant route to take out the corner and give that little bit of a pick to allow for Billingsley to come open. But the play is log jam from the get-go because Texas A&M challenges at the line of scrimmage. And then what you're going to see here is Leon O'Neal Jr. He's lined up right here, but he's going to beat Billingsley to the spot, and the ball is a little off target. But even if the throw is there, I think O'Neal has a chance to make the play. But also you have to look at the play and see that, Billingsley needs to run underneath Mechie there, but still, I think O'Neal understands what's happening, and then he's going to close and still be in position to almost make an interception. But I think he has a chance to make that play right at the goal line. But one more time, full speed through. I think O'Neal does a good job communicating. He's a really, really active communicator. You can see that a lot on his film. Leader of the defense, but he certainly plays with a chip on his shoulder and plays very aggressively and closes very quickly on this play. So final time here, does a really nice job rerouting himself. I know he gets a little bit off target, and if that's a perfect ball, there's a 50-50 chance that Billingsley scores, but I like the chances of O'Neal here. I think he's in good position, and does a good job fighting through the trash and nearly making a play. So very impressed with Leon O'Neal Jr. from Texas A&M. I do think, while he's not going to provide the the highest upside, I would say, in terms of safeties. He's not going to be like a Trayvon Merrick. He's not going to be an Andre Cisco where he's playing at deep zones like last year. He's not going to be a Kyle Hamilton either. But I do think there's a role for him. He has a special teams background. He played it his entire freshman season. And I think when it boils down to is that he does need to get his eyes a little bit faster moving, get process what's happening in front of him quicker. But ultimately, I think Leon O'Neal Jr. is a perfect day three safety. You come in, let develop, and let him really thrive in those short zones, and especially near the line of scrimmage. Make him challenge tight ends to get off a press. Make him challenge running backs to beat them one-on-one. I think the athletic ability is there for Leon O'Neal Jr. to be an immediate contributor in the NFL. And his physicality is going to be lauded by NFL teams. He's a physically imposing player that wants to impose his will throughout the duration of the game. But very impressed from what I saw from him. I think as the season went on, his eyes got a little bit better. His tackling in the open field does need to continue to improve, and I think that's going to boil down to him, breaking down properly. But when you look at Leon O'Neal Jr. in the safety class, it's an incredibly deep class that has a lot of different types of talent. But I like O'Neal's ability to be physical inside the box, be physical at the line of scrimmage. And I really think an NFL team is going to really fall in love with his skill set and become a special teams core player at the very least. I think that's his floor. But I think he can be a high-end starter in operating in the box and be a ball hawk. Although his ball production wasn't as expansive as you would like coming out of college, I do think there's some ability there. Just get those eyes a little bit quicker. Let them continue to get the feel of the defense and let them run around and be active. So that's a Leon O'Neal Jr. Breakdown here on Blue Chip Scouting's YouTube page. You can follow me on Twitter at @RealD_Jackson. You can follow Blue Chip Scouting on Twitter at Blue Chip Scout. And I will have more breakdown videos in the future.